Well, how's everyone doing? Okay, I'm gonna cover a topic that's some people have issues with when it comes to their children. Okay, first I'm gonna lighten up the mood a moment. Uh, there was two boys, ages 8 and 10, and they were very mischievous. If something went wrong in the neighborhood, they probably had something to do with it. So uh, parents are getting called from neighbors complaining about their boys. So then the mother is exasperated. She said she doesn't know what to do with these kids. So he she says, I think I'm gonna have to talk to the priest about this. So the father says, you might as well, because the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna have to kill the boys. So then the mother goes and talks to the priest first and the priest says, I believe I can help you. I need to speak to the boys. Bring me the one, I'm going to talk to him separately. Bring me the young one first. So, okay. She brings the young one, and they go in the office all by themselves. The mother stays outside in the reception area. And, uh, and the priest and he's an elderly man, and the boy are just sitting across from each other. He's at his desk and he's in the chair in front of the desk, and they're just looking at each other. Then little boy has a little attitude, and they're just looking at each other. So then his attitude is expressed in his facial expressions. And then the priest breaks the silence and says, where is God? What? Where is God? What's he talking about? And he says in a louder voice, where is God? Now, little kids acting all cocky. Man, this old man don't know who you messing with. So the priest gets up out of the chair, and he points his bony finger at him and knocks the stuff that's on the desk on the floor and says, where is God? The little boy panics. He gets up out of the chair, runs out of the office, runs right past his mother. He runs all the way home. And then when he gets to the house, he finds his big brother and says, we're in big trouble. So what you talking about? They said, God's missing, and they think we done it. Okay. A lot of people, when they read and when it comes to children, they quote, a lot of them quote, spare the rod, spoil the child. That's in Proverbs 13:24. It says, he who spares the rod hates his son, but who loves him is careful to discipline him. Okay. In Proverbs 22, verse 15, it says, folly is bound up in the heart of a child, but the rod of discipline will drive it far from him. In Proverbs 23:13, 13 and 14, says, do not withhold discipline from a child. If you punish him with the rod, he will not die. Punish him with the rod and save his soul from death. Okay. And then in Proverbs 19:18. Let me go back. (19:18) says, discipline your son, for in that there is hope. Do not be a willing party to his death. Then in Ephesians chapter 6, I had written down verse 4, but I'm going to read from verse 1. It says, children. He's talking to kids. This is about Paul when he wrote Ephesians. Children, obey your parents in the Lord, for this is right. Honor your father and mother, which is the first commandment, with a promise, that it may go well with you and you may enjoy a long life on the earth. Then here's the instructions to the parents. It says, fathers, do not exasperate your children. Instead, bring them up in the training and instruction of the Lord. Okay, now, here's a little tidbit from the time when Moses was on the earth. In Deuteronomy chapter 21, start at verse 18. It says, if a man has a stubborn and rebellious son who does not obey his father and mother and will not listen to them when they discipline him, his father and mother shall take hold of him and bring him to the elders of the gate of the town. They shall say to the elders, this son of ours is stubborn and rebellious. He will not obey us. He is a profligate and a drunkard. Then all the men of the town shall stone him to death. You must purge the evil from among you. All Israel will hear of it and be afraid. That's the death penalty for not obeying your parents. Okay, I'm a retired corrections officer. I spent 26 and a half years working in different prisons with 2 different agencies. And in that time, one of the positions that I had was that of a correctional counselor, which is basically a glorified corrections officer. But in that position, you know, I had become a Christian during that time, so I took it to heart, and you know, stuff like this. I applied to my life, and I found myself guiding my charges. Right, so I go ahead and do rounds in different areas. You know, the rounds at work, job sites. Then when I went to the visiting room once, and there was this mother of one of the inmates under my charge, that when I met her, she said that she was glad that I was the one that was the counselor that was helping her son. And she says, and she told me that she had prayed before when he was getting in trouble, that she would rather visit him in prison than visit a grave. So God honored that prayer, and when he got arrested, he was drug trafficking, and the Bahamian Defense Force beat him to a pulp. He went into a coma. When he came out, he had the mind of a 5-year-old, and he was doing time, a lot of time. So, the power of a praying mother has a lot of influence, but what I've experienced in all this time since 1997 has basically opened my eyes to a lot of things. So taking consideration what you guys are doing when it comes to your kids. Well, be blessed, people.